Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's day 2 of Vlogmas, and today I want to talk to you about why I got serious about YouTube in my 40s and the things that I have learned along the way doing YouTube and creating content. It's going to be a great day, but right now we're about to head to the gym for our morning workout. I love to go work out in the mornings, and so I'm just going to take you along with me, and we'll just have the conversation throughout the day. Let's head to the gym. All right, workout is complete, and it was a good workout. I'm glad that I get up in the morning and get it out the way, because as the day goes by, I don't want to work out. But I thought as I drive home, I would give you a little bit of background to why I am doing Vlogmas and background to how I got to this point of really wanting to encourage 40 plus Gen Xers to get into content creation and YouTube. So how did I get here? I got here almost I got here 11 years ago after being laid off my corporate job. I did everything that my family, my parents taught me to do. I went to school, I got decent grades, I went to college, even went on to graduate school, got a master's in health administration, and had a pretty decent career for about 10 years. So I graduated graduate school from Meharry Medical College with my master's in public health in 2004. And between 2004 and 2014, I worked in healthcare, the sciences, even taught school on the high school and college level. But in 2015, I was the corporate compliance director of a community health center, and things started to get a little shaky. Excuse that noise. It's a dump truck beside me. Maybe I'll go a different way so that I don't get that noise. And in 2014, I ended up getting laid off my job, and I was 35, 36 at the time. And so I had a decision to make. Whether or not I was going to go back to my 9-to-5 or start something on my own, or pursue the dream that I had as wanting to be a speaker, coach, consultant. And I chose the alternative. In 2014, I launched out and began my journey of entrepreneurship. And I started out as a speaker. I always wanted to be a speaker, always wanted to get paid to speak and become a professional speaker. And so I thought this would be a great time for me to take the leap. And so since 2014, I have been freelancing as a speaker, as a business coach, as well as a consultant for nonprofits. But it wasn't until around about my 40s that I really decided to get serious about YouTube. And one of the reasons why I decided to get serious about YouTube was that it's a great marketing tool for individuals who are starting a business and who has something that they want to get to a particular audience. And starting a YouTube channel, yes, it was daunting for me. Yes, it was a little nerve-wracking for me because it meant that I was putting myself out there for people to not only receive value, but for also people to critique, right? And nobody really likes to be critiqued or have anything negative said about you. But here's what I learned in getting started was that your message and the value you want to offer to people is not about you. And a lot of times we hold ourselves back from doing the things that we truly want to do because we're making that thing about us instead of it being about the people we want to help. Instead of it being about the individuals who would get great value out of us sharing our knowledge and expertise. And that's why I really pushed getting into YouTube and getting serious about YouTube. Well, along the way, I fell off and I had to kind of start again. Fell off and had to start again. Fell off, and here we are today, starting again with Vlogmas and recommitting myself to really growing this channel. At the current moment, I have about 450 subscribers, and it was my goal in 2025 to get to 1,000 and to have the channel monetized. But of course, here we are in December, and I have yet to reach my goal. Well, the year's not over. The year is not over. We could reach it. We could get to 1,000 by the end of December, but even if we don't, I have set a new goal to get to 1,000 by my birthday, which is May of 2026. And we're going to be consistent and we're going to push forward. And so that's a little bit of the backstory of how I got here today and why I'm doing Vlogmas and why I'm encouraging my generation, the 40 plus generation, the Gen X generation, or the Xennials, I think also, because I believe I'm more of a Xennial because I'm on the latter end of Gen X. But I think this is our time. I think this is a moment in time for Gen Xers, for 40 plus, to get into content creation. Brands are looking for 40 plus content creators. Brands are hiring individuals in the 40 plus to do UGC. This is our moment. This is our moment. And so that's a little bit of backstory of how we got here. But I'm going to give more on just why you should be thinking about getting involved and getting into YouTube, and how it can benefit your life, benefit your finances, and benefit your growth. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the house. But wanted to kind of drive and share that backstory with you, just so you kind of get an understanding of where I am today and how I got here. That French toast was good. It was really good. But I want to come back on. I know that I shared kind of like my background story in the car headed home from the gym, but I want to continue our conversation as we're talking about my experience in getting into content creation and started my YouTube channel. And as I was sharing in the car, I got laid off my job in 2014, and I began my journey as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, as a speaker, as a content creator. And one of the things that I think back to when I'm thinking about that time frame was that I was always thinking that there was going to be the best time for me to get started, that there was going to be the best opportunity for me to get started, and that opportunity or that best time really never came. It was a job layoff that really helped me to get going and to get moving. And I want to encourage you as a Gen Xer, as a 40 plus, that there will never be a best time. I just want to encourage you to get started now. Get started with what you have. And I know that there are thoughts maybe going through your head that it's too late for me, or I am too old, things that I've shared in the previous video. But the fact of the matter is that you're the right age. You're the right age because you're at a point in life where you have a lot of lessons that you've learned. You have a lot of different experiences that you have been able to glean from. You have a lot of wisdom, and a lot of people are looking for that wisdom. They're looking for the experiences for you to share. You have a lot of mistakes that you've making and that you learn from. You have a lot of successes, I'm sure, that you had that you've learned from. And many people today are paying money to learn from individuals who've been there and done that. Let me say that again. Many people today are paying money to individuals who've been there and done that because they're trying to expedite their process, or they're trying to cut their learning curve doing the things that you have a passion for doing, or things that you've already experienced that you can help. I'll never forget, I followed this guy named Pat Flynn. And Pat Flynn is a guru when it comes to online business and online marketing. But his claim to fame, the thing that made him popular in the online space, was that he was laid off his architectural job. And he took that opportunity of being laid off and turned it into a massive online business by teaching other students who were coming up after him to pass whatever the architectural test is that they have to take. And so what he did was he created study guides to help students who are in school getting their architectural degree. He created study guides that helped him to pass the test. And he put those study guides online for purchase. And that's how he began to grow online with a YouTube channel and through digital marketing by selling his study guides to students who were attempting to pass that prerequisite test that they needed to pass. And he turned that into an entire business. And so you have to think about the things that you probably take for granted. What are you taking for granted that you know that other people would love to know, but they don't have access to that knowledge? I like to ask my clients when I am sharing with them and helping them to identify, what is that thing that they take for granted? And I like to ask this question: what comes easy to you but hard for other people? There are actually 3 questions that I like to ask, and I'll share them with you today. What comes easy to you but hard for other people? That's question number 1. What's something that you love doing so much that you do it for free, but you could get paid to do it? And then number 3, what's something that you love doing so much that when you're doing it, you're losing the track of time while you're doing it? That's something that you potentially could turn into a business. That's something that you potentially could be sharing on YouTube because others would love to know that knowledge, or others would love to glean from your own expertise. A lot of this stuff we simply take for granted. And I'm trying to tell you that don't take your knowledge and your experience and expertise for granted. Now let's deal with this issue of, or this idea that you're starting late. You're not starting late. There's no better time than right now. I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said that the best time to have planted a tree was 10 years ago. Well, the next best time to plant a tree is right now. There's no such thing as late or too late to start. That you can start right now. Carpe diem, seize the moment. There are 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds who are on YouTube creating content, sharing their knowledge and their expertise. I was just watching a YouTube just the other day where these individuals who are in retirement are making extra money for their lifestyle by having YouTube channels, by getting into content creation, by doing UGC. So it's never too late to start this process. And I'm so glad that I pushed past it was late, or I was too old, or who wants to hear what I have to say. I'm so glad that I pushed past, because here I am since I was 36 creating content, learning how to be a better content creator, learning how to sell online, learning how to have a successful YouTube channel. I mean, at the end of the day, 450 people subscribe to my channel, I think is great. Now, would I love to have more? Absolutely. That's why I'm jumping back on the bandwagon and I'm pressing forward and doing what it is I feel like I want to do, and that is create content and do this YouTube channel. And I'm focused on making it happen. So let's do away with this whole conversation around it's too late or that you're too old. You're the right age and you're right on time. Now that I've convinced you to get started and get that YouTube channel going and get into content creation as a 40+ Gen Xer, then you might be asking yourself now, how do I get started? What are all the things that I need? And I don't want you to get caught up into that either. How you get started is with what you already have. And when I say get caught up into all of those things that you feel like you need, because I know sometimes you can get caught up into feeling like you need the best camera or best audio and all of these things. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to start with what you already have, and that is that cell phone. Everybody has one of these. Everybody has a cell phone, and just about every cell phone has a quality camera on it. And get started with what you already have. Use that cell phone. You may have to invest in something like a tripod to put that cell phone on so that you can get shots like I am. What I'm doing right now is called face to camera. I'm talking directly to the camera and it's not moving. We're just sitting still talking directly to the camera, and this is good enough. All the other things in the video that you saw prior to me sitting down sharing these tips with you, that will come as you go. Just get started. Don't get caught up in perfection. Don't get caught up in procrastination. Just get started with what you have. Now, I would recommend that you do invest in some type of lapel mic or some type of wireless mic like I have, which you can find these types of mics in my Amazon store, which is in the link in the description. And you can find the most expensive to the most affordable. So I have you covered there. Just click the link in the description and you'll see my Amazon store and you'll find all of my creative tools there. But don't get caught up in thinking that you have to have the latest and the greatest equipment to get started. A cell phone and a nice mic. One of the things that I've learned in being a part of YouTube and creating videos and being in content creation is that people will actually watch your video even though it may not be the best quality, but if you have good audio. And so if there's anything that you would invest in when you're getting started with your YouTube channel, invest in good audio, because people like to listen. They'll listen to something that's quality before they actually watch something that is not such great quality. Don't get caught up in all of those things as far as equipment and all of that. And then just have a decent background. I'm right now sitting in my kitchen. I just made sure that everything was clean, the dishes were clean, and that there was nothing on the cabinets that you can see. You might see a few dishes, a little bit on the cabinet there, but it's at least clean. And we're doing this video. And so I am coming on during Vlogmas, during December, just to encourage Gen Xers, 40 and up, get into content creation. Don't wait, don't hesitate, get into it. Don't feel like you have to be perfect and everything has to be together, because it doesn't. People want authenticity. People want you and the advice that you have to share, or the wisdom that you have to share, or the value that you have to share. Don't get caught up in feeling like everything has to be aesthetically pleasing, because like I said, I think you can see the dishes sitting on my counter. I didn't even worry about it. I said, I'm going to record this video and we're going to get it out because I want to provide value to you. So as we close out today's video, I want you to share in the comments. Let me know what has been holding you back from getting started. If you're a Gen Xer, if you are 40 plus, even if you're not 40 plus and you've been watching these videos, let me know what's been holding you back from getting started with content creation, starting your YouTube channel, and moving forward with what it is that you feel like you have passion for. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is some expertise and some knowledge that you have to share that's valuable to somebody who would sit down and watch what you have to offer. And so I want you to share in the comments. Let me know what's holding you back. And we'll be back tomorrow encouraging and inspiring you to get started with your YouTube channel, get started in content creation. And as we move forward, we're going to be sharing all the various ways that you can create income for yourself doing video and doing content creation, because I think it's important that we actually get paid for the things that we do. There are many ways that you can monetize your expertise, monetize your knowledge, and provide value all at the same time. And so until tomorrow, have a great rest of the day. Just remember this, always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded.